Ready to go.
Okay. Hello everybody and welcome back. Today we're working on a lawnmower that starts and runs fine if you spray it with starter fluid. Now it's got a primer bulb on the front, but no matter how much you prime it, it just acts like it's completely dead. Now this is a pretty easy fix, and I see this all the time. So let's get over there and get to it. I picked this up this morning from a gentleman, and he told me that the primer just doesn't work. And he showed me. I sprayed starter fluid in it, and she cranks right up, sounds great. But if you prime it, it just won't start. So let's get inside. Now on this one, the first thing I noticed is no air filter. And there are cases where no air filter in this particular mower make it a little bit more difficult to start, but that's usually not the problem. Usually the problem is right behind the plate. And that's normally the problem right there. This gasket gets worn, and you can see it's indented pretty big, and it just simply doesn't work anymore. And if you replace this gasket, all of a sudden she works fine. So let's go find a replacement real quick. While we've got this apart, we're going to go ahead and replace the primer bulb. You see it clips right out, and the new one just pops right in. And that's that. Now, this one looks okay, but you can see all this dust on the inside ring. That means it's not seating correctly. And we'll take a look at our little air screen in there. We're going to blow this out, and I'll be right back in 1 minute with a primer bulb. Okay, we've blown her off, and she's all nice and clear in here, so we don't have to worry about any blockages. Now we're going to put the bulb on. Make sure she's seated all the way down, and she is. Now we're going to touch it with WD-40. Just to make this clip go on a little bit easier. WD-40 is definitely optional, but every now and again I'll hit one of these that just doesn't want to click in. So let's go. Click. Almost click. Click. There's one side. Okay, after a little bit of struggling, we've got the other side clipped in nice and tight. So let's go put her back on the engine and see if she starts. Okay, we'll put our new gasket in place. And bolt our air box back on. And then we'll put a new air filter in it before we finish it off. I'm pretty sure this is going to work because this thing starts fine, but only with starter fluid. Now you could spend the $20-odd and buy a new airbox, which would come with a new primer in it and of course a new gasket. But in this case, it's just not necessary. Let's put an air filter on and try it. Now, I like the Honda motors and all that, but if I had to pick one motor, and it was the only one I was ever allowed to use again, the Briggs Quantum would be it. These things usually last 30 years. Longer if you take care of them. So let's put her on the ground and give her a run. Okay, when you're starting one of these with the Quantum motor and this little front pump, it doesn't matter what brand the machine is, it's all about the motor. And this really is a good motor. It's better than you'd expect on yard machines. So let's pump this up a whole bunch. We're going to pump it about 20 times, maybe 30. It says 3 times, but don't believe it. And she starts and she's ready to go. Now, the way Briggs & Stratton does it is a little bit different than Honda or Kohler or Tecumseh. They usually pump gas. When you push that, you're actually forcing gas through the bulb and into the engine. That's not the case with the Briggs & Stratton motor. What you're doing is you're pushing air into a little hole on the top left of the carburetor, and it pushes air into the bowl, and the bowl forces gas up into the motor. So pumping it once or twice or 3 times you usually can't get enough pressure unless everything's perfect. So I tell everybody, make sure you got a good gasket, make sure your little primer bulb is in good shape, and pump it 20 times before you try to start it. If everything's working perfect, even on an old motor, it'll start. So all you new people out there, if you made it this far, you might as well subscribe. It's free, and it's what we work for. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.